Hey, what is up, everybody? We're back here for Grand Line Grinders, episode number 13. And it's kind of going to be the OP13 episode, so it lines up quite nice, especially since everybody got hard trolled last weekend, waiting up until some people stayed up until 5 or 6 a.m., hoping they'd get the ban announcement after the tournament. And what did they announce? They announced that the ban announcements are going to be announced on Wednesday. So that's 2 days from now for us, which will be interesting. I'm just praying that whatever bans they make them go into effect soon, because I think a lot of people have kind of checked out of OP11 entirely. But yeah, happy to be back. I had a little vacation, but now we're back. Back with a good friend, co-host Kebby G. How you doing, Kebby? How was your weekend?
Great. Just great being having no time. I haven't been able to record anything for quite some time, so kind of sad about that. But yeah, so we're gonna get right into this discussions. We have some interesting things to talk about. Two cards in particular that I think are probably going to be the more noticeable ones from this uh recent releases of new cards. We have a little bit of a meta talk, and then of course that's about it. And let us know in the comment section what you guys want to, what kind of other stuff you guys like us to talk about. Because I think after this, we're going to be trying. Hopefully next week we'll be talking about the bands in our top tens. That's the goal next week. So we could probably hash out what we think the top 10 ranked decks are. So if you're interested in playing competitive, it's definitely what we hopefully we think we're accurate, because that would give us some extra cred points.
For sure.
And then after that, we will hopefully get into some OP12 gameplay as well, or maybe even OP13, because that OP13 isn't technically in the East yet. It's PRBO2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we technically, I guess maybe not OP13 content. We can give you OP12. We talked about doing Sanji, but we pushed that off because we didn't know what the band lists are. So
Yeah. Still pretty awkward. I still have yeah. I'm still really tempted to talk about my Rosinante deck more because I still just really love that deck, but we'll have to see how everything goes.
so let's go ahead and dive straight in. So I do want to talk about something very interesting about this recent ranked list. It did get 5,413 games in. Kuzan showing up at the ninth slot.
Yeah.
Um, I was not expecting a Kuzan to show up. I mean, that's not really a deck I thought was going to be in top 10 ever. Thought it was just going to be a very solid role player. What do you think about Kuzan?
Yeah, I mean, I played a bunch of Kuzan, and it is a deck that's like pretty consistent in what it does. And yeah, I think its biggest upside is that like the Zoro matchup is actually not that bad, and it seems to play out that way in the games too. I'm surprised that it looks like it also has a good Rayleigh matchup. And because if that's really true, like if that's really true, that's like deck number one and deck number two of the OP12 format. I mean, if we're still under the assumption, and now I'm starting to worry a little bit, but I'm still crossing my fingers every day that we're still under the assumption that blue purple gets banned or enough cards from the deck get banned that it's not being played everywhere. But like Rayleigh and Zoro are deck number one and deck number two, at least in terms of ranked right now. Like, and it's that it says that like very clearly in the total number of matches as well, right? Like Rayleigh and Zoro are the only decks to have over 10,000 matches played with them. So if you have good matchups against those two, that seems so huge, right? Where like Kuzan can just go fast enough with their 8Ks to actually race with Rayleigh. And since all your characters are 8K, and Mulligan often isn't good enough. And you never get punked out at zero because you have like 4 rad beams. So I think it's kind of surprising too, in terms of like, if you had asked me which of the OP12 leaders are going to make it onto a top 10 list, potentially like outside of Rayleigh and Zoro, I wouldn't have guessed Kuzan, but
Yeah,
it
because
seems good.
like last week or week after before that, we talked about we thought Koala was the third best leader from this set. I do find
Yeah.
interesting about Kuzan. I think it actually might get better post bannings because its worst matchup is Blue Purple Luffy. If Blue Purple Luffy is gone, it already has a favorable matchup against Enel. So that
Yep.
that might mean I guess it does semi poor into Bonnie. I was thinking maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's good into Starve decks. But Bonnie's kind of right there. So maybe it actually gains a lot more win rates post banning because I mean its
Yeah.
worst matchup is gone, and maybe more grindy decks start showing up more, and maybe Kuzan has a favorable matchup into those type of decks.
Yeah, I definitely think it has a lot of promise. The main thing is the deck list is kind of like set in stone. But if it is true that we might potentially be living in a Nami supremacy world for a tiny little bit, then like Kuzan gets big ups as well, just because like any deck that can play Gion gets a huge win percentage against Nami because that card's nutty. It's like one of the hardest Nami counters that exists in the metagame right now. So
And it looks like the other Luffy decks are starting to fall apart. I mean, Blue Purple Luffy's still at the top. Grape is dropping. Bonnie fourth, Kid fifth. Like it's so. I wonder. So what
yeah.
would happen? Does Gum Gum Giant need to be banned if you just ban Blue Purple Luffy at this point? Because it looks like Purple Luffy's kind of going down.
I don't think so, though. Like Premium Booster does give a lot of buffs to Green Purple, but at the same time, like Green Purple just got two new bad matchups in Zoro and Rayleigh. Like, I don't think either of those matchups are good for you consistently enough. Like, Premium Booster helps a little bit because you get a blocker that can't be rested. So that helps the Zoro matchup like a tiny bit. But just the fact that those are, these two new decks that are relatively cheap to get into because they're all new cards and they're relatively beloved characters, it just like hurts that deck so much. And I don't think, even though Gum Gum Giant is good, I just don't think you can build a version that has enough cards with counter, right? Like that has a low enough counterless count that Gum Gum Giant will keep you alive too much longer to be relevant.
Yeah. So
And
so if you really look at it, right? So it's losing matchups are like barely like it's barely under. So I wonder if Gum Gum Giant would make these matchups even like horrible. Like it would probably be really bad into a Nell. It would lose some favorable matchups here. So I wonder if it would be too
yeah.
bad. It would be too much of a hit to Grape Luffy if
I
you do
mean,
ban it.
GP Luffy now being losing against Enel is so bad. That used to be one of your really good matchups. The fact that that matchup is losing now is like a real sign that GP is worse than it used to be. And Enel is a lot better than it used to be because I played that matchup a lot and it was tough. It was winnable, but very difficult.
Yeah, so maybe just the restriction of Gum Gum Giant is enough to keep
Yeah.
Grape Luffy into check because it looks like it's already kind of fallen apart. It's really
There's
horrendous into the two new decks as a in general. And if
there's
you
definitely so many additions of strong cards in other colors that it doesn't feel like you're really pushed to play Gum Gum Giant just because like every color now has some really really strong card that makes you be like, oh well, I'm happy just playing this. This might not be as strong as Gum Gum Giant, but it's close enough. If Gum Gum Giant's like a 95 out of 100. So many decks just have their own 90 out of 100 that they can just jam and hope they draw and overpower you.
so besides that, there's not much really left to talk about. I mean, of course, Zoro is
I
just
mean, can we
almost
see?
at a 10. Is that an issue?
Yeah, the Zoro matchups are so crazy just in terms of like how many people are playing the deck. It's so popular. I don't know. I'm not worried about it, especially just like, you know, you can look at this list there and see there's 5 bad matchups, and some of the bad matchups are really bad, right? So And
Yeah.
I have decks that are good against it, right? Like there's a bunch of options, and Zoro is just like one of the biggest things that is making Zoro have such a high win rate is that like it's this really great combo of an extremely popular character and an extremely linear and relatively easy to understand deck. So you don't need a lot of training to be good with Zoro. You just read the Zoro leader, you recognize that you attack a character and face every turn, and you just do that over and over again, and it gets you wins. But I think once more people are prepared and playing against it, I'm just like not that worried about it. But I'm interested to see what the list for the Kuzan deck is. Any chance we can pull that up?
A
So
couple
they are
footage.
playing the 5/7 vanilla.
Yeah, Virgo 3 copies. Only three
Yeah.
copies of Kuzan 6 drop, and three
Yeah.
copies of Aramaki.
3 Aramaki is pretty interesting, but
Yeah,
outside of that, pretty normal. But it seems like the 5/7 Virgo is getting more popular.
and it seems like
I've
you
been
seems like you were correct originally. Cypher is the
yeah.
better. No, they're planning to share both of them.
Yeah.
So I mean,
The one other option is Gion. I was playing Gion over one of these, right? Just because like I wanted the extra hate against Gum Gum Giant and Dead Man's Game and whatever Nami deck.
yeah, especially if Nami becomes a big thing post OP13, it might literally require you to play Gion. So I would definitely pick up Gions if you don't have them. Just
Yeah.
there's a nice, like Pudding. It's a nice medical type tech card. Um,
Yeah.
so
There's been some pricing spikes because of the new sets finally coming out soon. Like some Rayleigh cards have been spiking in price and other stuff like that.
but yeah, this looks pretty decent. Like it has a pretty solid curve. It's not that many 1 drops, but decent
Yeah.
number of 3s to 4s,
This
5s.
deck being, if this deck is more than like $60, $70, it would be very surprising to me. So that's like another huge upside of like you can get this whole deck for dollars and cents, right? Like it's dirt cheap.
Yeah, and imagine one of the more expensive cards right here is getting reprinted in PRBO2. So this is gonna fall down
Yeah,
some.
and it's like as a quote unquote expensive card, it's like $5 or whatever,
It's
right?
like 350.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so like it'll probably drop down to $1 or $2. So this probably make it even a little bit more cheaper. Knock off like $5 off your price tag.
yeah,
It's pretty not too bad. Like there's a lot of rares, so it's not a lot of super rares. So
exactly.
these two are the only
You only
ones.
need 6 or 7 super rares and no secrets. So
Mm-hmm. And
and
our
no cards from Extra Booster, which is really big.
and Aramaki is pretty cheap as is because nobody
Yeah.
plays it. So you can pick this up for like 15, 30 cents. So yeah, it's a pretty sweet deck.
Yeah. I'm happy that like people are playing Blue Purple S. And like as a whole, looking back on the OP11 format, it's kind of sad because it really was kind of a good format overall. Like there was a lot of interesting stuff to do in OP11, but so much of it was like poisoned for me personally. And I think for some other people too by Blue Purple, right? Like if you played in a tournament and you never played against Blue Purple, you would think that this format is great. But if you played in a tournament and you played against Blue Purple like more than 2 or 3 times, you just like hate life. And that was just so tragic. Um, so I'm still really hoping they do something about it. And this new format looks really exciting. I like that it does feel like there's a even mix of colors now, right? Like Kuzan popping on the list really does mean that like every color is represented now, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it
Blue,
was twofold,
purple.
right? With why Blue Purple Luffy was such a problem. First of all, it was they didn't balance the leaders. That's the one thing I hope they start doing more of going forward. Is all the leaders in a set they just kind of make them on the same power level.
Yeah,
So that way it's not just Blue Purple Luffy and everything else was kind of like a tier or two behind.
for
With
sure.
Shirahoshi, the best one might have been Katakuri, but like there was just like this big power gap between what Blue Purple was and what the other ones were. And
For
also, I
sure.
mean, it also doesn't help that Blue Purple Luffy banned basically a decent amount of leader from the format, just because they also were other leaders that had a late game and wanting to get to the late game, and you can't really have that strategy. So basically, he himself banned a certain proportion of leaders.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
now we
one.
have late game decks back, which is nice. You know, we have Bonnie as a late game deck, and even Kid and Anel too, right? Like, feels nice.
Yeah, so I'm hoping hopefully maybe all they need to do is just ban Blue Purple Luffy. I wonder if that would be enough. Like the people are talking about the power creep from 12 and 13 being really up higher. Um, but we can go ahead and get into the power creep. Talk about OP13 right now.
Yeah, I don't even think power creep is that high of like I feel like what you were mentioning earlier is just what is happening. I don't think there's that much power creep, but I do think there's a lot of power balancing. Because it used to be that every set had like one or two really good leaders and then a couple of stinkers, like cards that were just genuinely bad 100% of the time, or, you know, they were just never going to be tournament viable, like just straight up from reading it. And they're kind of removing those really terrible cards more and more and just trying to create like a more even floor. We might still have power creep, but I
Yeah,
feel like they've gotten into a good spot too now where they don't feel like they have to print terrible cards, because now they just make cards that are really flavorful, that like have something to do with the story, cards that are good, and 2Ks. And like those are the three cards that they print. So
keep in mind, I'm not saying power creep is bad, right? I think what they're trying to do. They're trying to elevate the game up to a certain power creep that they like, and that's basically because they're still a relatively new card game. They're trying to figure out what power level is fun and exciting, right?
yes.
Because before you could argue there was a lot of cards that weren't playable, they weren't fun. So they're trying to find out that balance. Once they find that balance, it might just stay that course forever. But like I said, they're still exploring and figuring out what makes the game fun.
No,
Like
I 100% agree. I
like
100%
even
agree.
Magic the Gathering did that. Like they got to a point they're like, okay, we need to move up to Baneslayer Angel. Now we need to move it up to here, and this is kind of where everything is kind of fun. There's not needing bans. It's kind of
Yeah.
just yeah. So that's basically what they're doing, right? Which is why I mean I don't mind this. I don't think it's necessarily bad power creep. It's power creep that's necessary to keep the game fun. Um,
Yeah. I mean, people are always talking about like, oh, aren't the OP13 leaders like really broken? Isn't like OP13 power creep? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think several of the OP13 leaders are worse than OP01 Law, right? Like that's always the card that I think about way back in the day. Because way back in the day, the OP01 Law leader ability was just so much more broken than what every other deck was doing as their leader ability for the most part. Like, you know, paying 2 to put down a 5 cost and all you have to do is pick up a 1. Like that is something that is both powerful and fun. And it was like very obvious that this is like going to be a tournament viable deck no matter what, unless it gets hated out of the metagame, which it like kind of is now. Um, but like we've had high power level cards for a long time. So
so
anyway, OP13, you wanted to talk about this
yeah, so
this new Roger Pirate event?
yeah, so I think this actually was the last piece that I was looking for, because I think that the deck needed enough ways where it can go first and still be viable, which was one of the things that I was really worried about. And they basically made a Gear 2 for Roger, and only Roger. This is something I think they need to start doing more of. If it is something that's good like this, they need to start leader locking it a little bit more,
Yeah.
just so that way it's not like a one piece staple of every deck. But I do like that this card is absolutely needed. So now you have your buggy, and there's another ramp spell that's brand new that I actually really like because it's kind of a twofold. It's a good ramp spell and it's a good beat stick late in the game. So I think that's actually really strong. I think that they need to make more ramp spells like that. But what do you guys think about this new event?
I definitely think this event helps a lot, but the games that I've played of Roger still felt a lot of the time like the ramp cards are fine and you're going to draw them and play them as you can. But the main problem is the top end and how do you get top end that you can win with. I think the biggest thing that they haven't solved with Roger is there's still currently no way in the gold Roger deck to ensure that you have a 10 drop Roger and then you can play another 10 drop the next turn. Because any effect that would give you Arrested Dawn gets turned off by the 10 drop Roger, unless you're playing like the Oro Jackson stage, and they find a way to kill one of your characters. So like this is the only way to go from 10 drop to another 10 drop. Because like the 10 drop Roger is good and it like definitely buys you one turn. But most of the time people will just fill their board with stuff and then pass to you, and then you're on 9 Dawn and can't play another 10 drop. So you have to have like pressure on them either right then and there, or they'll just swarm you and kill you before you can play another 10 drop Roger.
But that wouldn't work though, because this would be because it's Dawn -3, so you would go down to 7. This brings you back to 8, and one of those would have to go to the leader, so you couldn't play another 10 drop falling.
No, your leader effect gets turned off by the 10 drop as well.
You're right, that's true. So yeah,
so there's no more attached Dawn. So they would have to KO one of your characters with an effect, but like that's not necessarily going to happen by the time you just played a 10 drop. So that seems like the big problem for the gold Roger deck to me for right now. But we'll have to see how it actually plays out more. And I do think the flexible ramp plus counterspell is really nice.
So question. We've had on the podcast before, we talked about where we like to see stages design go. What do you guys think? What do you think about this kind of template where it basically says if your character with this type would be removed from the field, do an effect?
I think it's a slightly better stage than some of the other ones, right? Like I feel like we all kind of agreed that these like discard a card, look at the top 3 every turn stages are like usually a little too good.
So that's what I'm saying. So what if it was
probably
like
not
this?
the direction you want to have stages in? But I think this still fits in the pocket of like it's a decent stage, but it's going to be a dead card often enough that you probably can't ever afford it to put it into your deck in a game without a sideboard. So,
but my question was more of what do you think if it would have been okay if you're a character with your type of Blackbeard would be removed from the field. Look top 3, put one in Blackbeard card in your hand, put the rest of them to the trash.
Yeah, that type of thing would be nice, but I still think, like I said, it's like a perfect sideboard card, but most of the time you just can't afford putting a counterless card that might do nothing in like half of your matchups into your deck.
Yeah, I understand. I was just asking, like, is that a better design for stages?
Make them a little bit, but it's still like it still has the issue of like you can design a card that is meant for the sideboard in Magic the Gathering, but you can't really do too much quote unquote sideboard design here. You'd have to do more of these like modal type spells or whatever, right? Like if they made a stage like this and then also said, you may discard this card from your hand for +1K counter, then I think we're cooking here, right? Like if they gave some stages counter maybe, like leader locked counter maybe or something like that. But that feels like the big issue.
Okay. We talked about this thing already. Yeah, so that was discussed. And Doug Bullet was the one I was talking about. I think this is the perfect template for a ramped piece. A 3-drop 4K comes down, you get a Dawn, play tapped. I love it. And then later on, it's a 6K attacker, so it can get through most leaders. So it's not a dead card late in the game. Hopefully they start making more rampers like this, because I think it's perfect. What do you think?
I do like this card a lot. Like 6K bodies are just very nice. And the fact that it's like a static permanent thing, not like your turn, their turn or whatever. Definitely helps. I like the dog a lot too. I don't know if the dog is spoiled on this deck builder yet. Oh yeah, Inurashi.
Yeah. I
This
think
is
this
like
one's
it's smaller, but it KOs a one cost, and I do think that's pretty good. Just because there's a lot of one cost everywhere, and in like the hyper aggro matchups like Rayleigh, you're gonna be really happy that you have this. But I guess now you have two twos, you have two threes,
yeah.
right?
That's what I was more talking about. Yes, having
Yeah,
two twos and two threes sets of threes means that your ramp package is determined. Now the top end and mid range you could do anything you want with, um, which is pretty nice. You can go to this Roger if you want, which just means
yeah,
you're more all in on Roger. Pirates, you can go down another path where you could just be playing 9-drop Luffy, and stuff like that, and just make it a different kind of top end.
yeah.
Um,
I still think that in general, people are extremely overvaluing 7K leader. 7K leader is good in theory, but 7K leader is only broken if you start the game with it, right? That's when 7K leader is broken. 7K leader on your 8 Don or 10 Don turn is like just fine. It's fine. It's fair. It's balanced. There's a bunch of decks that have different ways of getting to 6 or 7K leader, but you can still absolutely die at 7K leader, like very easily. It'll happen to you all the time. So, yeah, I think that this card is incredibly scary, but since there's currently no way to play two of them in a row reliably, consistently, I'm not that scared of it.
yeah, I mean, do we know when we're getting the promo, Roger?
Nope.
I mean, because technically you could play 4 promo Rogers, 4 new gates, and maybe that's what you actually go with. Because
Yeah.
then you basically make your leader 8K, 9K.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. The other key piece that has been spoiled and has caused a
Yeah.
lot of hype. People thought maybe they push off the ban announcement because they think they might have to hit something else,
Yeah.
which is Otama. So, which I don't know if that I definitely don't think that's the reason. But it was a little weird that like you said in the beginning, that they told us announcement that it's going to be later, which is weird.
Yeah.
But what do you think of Otama? Like, so
I mean,
the
this card has hit One Piece TCG, YouTube, and Twitter like a freaking nuclear warhead. This card has made people go crazy. Like, everybody was talking about Roger and how broken Roger is and Emu and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, forget all the other cards. They're all lame. They all suck. The card that I'm actually scared of is this 8-year-old girl. Dude, this 8-year-old girl is the most terrifying person in the world to people on One Piece Twitter right now. It is crazy. So, I mean, it's just one cost, 2K. If you have 3 or less life, draw 2, trash 1. It's Otama 5, or sorry, it is Kaya 5 through 8 for the Nami deck that originally only had 4 copies of Kaya, a 1-drop way to draw 2 cards. And now they have extra copies of it. It is very, very good for sure. But I do think the fact that you need to be at 3 life is a little bit of a nerf. You can't just put it into play on 1 Dawn right away.
mm-hmm.
But it is very, very good in the late game turns, right? Once you hit max Dawn.
Yeah.
Do I think something needs to be banned? No. I mean, rotate. The Nami leader rotates in April 2026. It's like, I don't know. I think we can survive Nami winter if it's for like 3 months or something, right? Because like this card doesn't even come out until 3 months from now. And then rotation is like 3 months after that. So
Yeah, it's one of those things that people, what I've understood, really hate Nami as a leader because
mhm.
it plays solitaire. It doesn't really do anything to the board. Doesn't tap your life, so you're never really getting card advantage from your life, really ever. So it's like one of those kind of strategies, and people just don't like it. But I understand. Like then again, like it's definitely going to change. I think it change their play patterns. They're definitely going to snap, take the first 2 damage off their life.
Yeah.
Some of the time they used to always counter out just to draw more cards, pitch cards to get through their deck faster. But now they probably just take, and then start using Otama and just start going through it, and then start countering using their counters. It's
I
absolutely
still think that like there's just ways that you could beat this, right? Like there's just still like obviously Nami is a deck that hoses certain decks really hard. And I can see a world where this kind of has like the same effect or a similar effect as Blue Purple Luffy, where it's just like no deck has a stronger late game than Nami, where they just mill, kill you, right? So you just can't be playing too slow of a deck. But there's a bunch of decks that could do really well into Nami that exist right now, right? Like I'm sure Zoro could do fine into Nami. Rayleigh obviously is incredibly favored. Blackbeard will always be good against Nami, right? Like if they can't trigger Kaya or Otama, then like that's a huge downside as well. So I'm just not as scared as some people are, just because like I recognize there are answers, and I think yeah. I still think that this is not as scary as Blue Purple Luffy.
So other cards that have been spoiled. This was discussed quite a bit as well on Reddit. Saint Carlos. Basically, it's kind of like a 1-drop 0 attack blocker that trashes one when ETBs.
One cost blockers are really good for sure. One cost blockers with counter are really good. And people were already playing the Cobra, the 2-cost blocker with the same effect. So
yeah, I got some flack about this card because I made.
What do you mean?
I made one comment saying it's less. The typing is better, but it actually is a not a power creep, but it's the other direction by stats wise. And people were getting at me like, because it technically is Cobra is a 1000 attacker, which is irrelevant. But coming from the Magic perspective, like it technically is worse if you don't care about
it's slightly worse in every deck other than Emu if you start with the Mary Joie in play, right?
Yeah, but I got a lot of downvotes on Reddit. People did not like me.
Reddit is fake.
Yeah, I'm like but I'm still, I guess, maybe thinking on the Magic perspective, more keywords at the same rate as a power creep. We take away, but yeah,
the typing helps it a lot for sure, but I wouldn't say it's power creep. I mean, it's power creep for a specific deck, right? For one deck, but not in general.
Yeah, I mean, playing this on turn 1 is going to be absolutely kind of crazy.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's going to feel really good for sure. The other card was the other Saint down there, the 3-drop one. The 3-drop Saint is the one that makes me think like, oh, okay, maybe this Emu deck is real. Like for the longest time, it seemed like Emu is too slow. And man, dude, 2 things that I realized about Emu that are like just a travesty and like, oh my god, okay, wait, this deck's probably not going to be that broken, is first of all, the empty throne, it's your turn only. So you're only 6k leader on offense. You're not even 6k leader on defense for the 7-drop stage. So you're not even 6k leader on defense, which is super whack. And then the Worm Elder that makes your character 7k, it's also only on offense. So it's not even on defense either, which is whack. But this card does seem really, really good. It's 3 cost with 1k counter. You may trash 1 card from your hand if the only characters on your field are Celestial Dragons. KO up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 3 or less.
Yeah, it's going to be needed for Rayleigh for sure.
Yeah, this is the anti-aggro tool. Yeah, exactly. This is how you beat Rayleigh. And it's going to be good in some other matchups too to snipe a couple of random 3-drops or whatever, right? But like, I think you're going to want to play 2 or 3 copies of this card in every Emu deck. It just helps you not die in the early game. And the fact that this is basically 2 cost, it's like a 2-cost event, right? Like 2 cost, trash a card, discard a card, KO 2 things. Because you can sack this to the Emu leader ability to draw a card right back.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a very strong card. Yeah, I don't get why they actually did that. That's a lot of hoop to go through to get that effect. It's why have it only on your turn? It seems
Yeah.
a little fishy to me. Um, but the other card we didn't talk about last time was the Rusher, just because we didn't see it. Since it,
Yeah, it's the bald guy.
yeah. So if you have 7 or more in your trash, this can't be removed and gains Rush. I do kind of wish they had it to where these guys gave all Celestial Dragons or 5 Elders those abilities, but maybe that's just too good. Um,
Yeah.
but when attacking, if you have 10 or less cards, turn one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000, so it's kind of like a buffed up um, Karasu, but it
Yeah.
can't hit leaders.
Yeah. It's just a nice little thing that helps you clear board sometimes, hopefully. But like definitely all of the 5 elders are very underwhelming in terms of stats wise. Because it's like they're all assuming that you're gonna have one of the stages in play, right? Either these are gonna cost 1 less or you're gonna put it out for 3. But even as a 5 cost, this card's just like fine, right? 5/5 rush when attacking, give something -2. It's like fine,
Yeah.
but
Um,
it's one of the more underwhelming ones, right? Like you'll need it for board clear to help you not die in the early game, but a lot of the other ones feel better stats wise.
yeah, it's kind of like a worse version of um, the guy from Vinsmoke, because he also minuses 2.
Oh yes, yeah, the red guy Ichiji.
The purple guy. Yeah, Ichichi. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Purple
So
Ichichi.
check the 7 drop really quick and double check for me that it's also only your turn. Yeah. Yeah. Your turn, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, your 5 elders, base power becomes 7k. That's so brutal.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. I
They're not
mean,
even 7k on defense. It's whack.
yeah, it's not. It was definitely a huge miss there.
Yeah, with
Uh,
10 cards in the trash, it feels like, oh, but this koala, I've been meaning to ask people. I don't know if anybody in the chat likes this card, but I read this card and I was like, I don't know if this card's good enough. It's a 5/6. If your leader's Revolutionary Army gains +3 cost, you may place 1 card from your trash on the bottom of your deck, give 1 rested Dawn to your leader. Oh, I thought this had blocker. It doesn't either. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem good enough to me.
it's it's weird, right? Because I mean, doesn't where is the leader? Doesn't he require a Dawn? Yeah. So
He
that way, I
does.
guess you could play her on 5, put one to the bottom, and then put the Dawn onto him. So that way, you would get the buff immediately.
But
That's her purpose.
yeah, but it just seems like a strictly worse version of the secret rare. Obviously, maybe that's the point. This is the budget version.
Yeah, it's common, yeah. Secret rare. It's must be in the set too, or is it
It's the very
OP12?
bottom. Yeah, the secret rare is the 3 of
Oh
them.
yeah, the Kaida, Sapo.
Yeah, this is 6/7 blocker, and then give Arrested Dawn. Oh, wait, you don't even have to bottom deck anything. Okay,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's basically a budget. It's basically a budget one of those.
Ooh, but that event, I kind of wanted to talk about that event, the yellow one, the yellow 2-drop event. That card seems interesting.
Paper art aftermath image. Counter up
Yeah.
to one of your leader characters gains 3,000 in this battle. Then, if your opponent has 2 or less life, add up to one of your leader or character up to when it gains additional 1,000.
Yeah. The +1 is this turn. So it's
Yes.
like +3 for it's +4 in total, but the +1 stays through the turn. So it's a way to potentially get your Bonnie to be like 6k on defense.
Yeah, and plus it's a trigger, so it works with Bonnie. Not
Yeah.
really, I guess. I mean, because her ability is more of a on your
There
turn.
is some trigger searchers though.
Yes, her one drop Lilith. Yeah,
Oh damn.
yeah. So you triggered that. Yeah, that's a pretty valid point. And then of course we have this
Yeah.
one for Supernova. So I guess that means
Yeah.
you could go down the path of either picking Egghead or going down Supernova. You want to go, it's like there's two different avenues.
You already have a character searcher, so playing the event searcher feels weird. Unless you really care about the trigger.
Yeah, but I'm saying like then again, Bonnie's not. Why isn't this Bonnie Supernova?
Yeah, I don't know why the Bonnie's not Supernova either. I think they didn't want you to have it be a blocker in Kid. 9-10 rush that untaps and then also blocks. Probably a little bit too good in the Kid deck.
Yeah, and plus, I mean,
No, but Kid is cost 3 to 8, right? But I forget.
yeah, and plus it'd be kind of nice with Capone just protecting this thing nonstop, putting it back on top of your life. Then next turn you just
Yeah.
play a player again and taking to snipe another life off of them. That would seem like really
This card is, I think, one of the most broken cards in the set for sure. Like, this card is insane nutter butters, man. This is another card where it's like, dude, are you scared about Nami while this card exists? This card should like poo-poo on Nami.
Yeah, and I like the fact that
You just hold back and then you play 9-drop Bonnie into 9-drop Bonnie and put them to 0.
like I said, I like the fact that it is leader locked, so it's not like a card that goes straight into a Nell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice
Yeah.
that you know they kind of like divvy out the best cards from.
Yeah, I think they have leader locked the correct amount of cards this set. Like certain cards that are really busted are leader locked, but then they did also make some good generic threats, which is nice.
Okay, so I'm trying to see if there's anything else before we maybe shift to this one. If there's something that's not on here.
I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the film package cards, just like because I've been wondering whether or not Uta might make a comeback because there's a surprising amount of film cards, right? There's film Uta, the Kobe is film, the Sanji is
Sanji.
film, and then there's film Law and film Shanks and film and the film Zoro. The Law especially is a card that I think is like
And then you have
might be really good for Uta or other film decks.
like this budget Beppo, which is I don't even think is that bad either. It's a 5/7. It's a
Yeah,
counter, but
it's a common, but like the untapped character end of turn is very very annoying for sure.
Honestly, I think these might be the cards you might want to be targeting in your draft or your release.
Yeah,
Just being able to play something and immediately untap your Dawn to hold up events might be just absolutely cracked at your pre-release.
for sure.
But yeah, Green has definitely gotten a lot of untapping your Dawns in this set.
Yeah, this card it seems like a little low stats wise, but the Law seems like it could be good enough, right? Where like return one character to your hand, play up to one character with the cost of 5 or less. Obviously, you want to bounce a searcher of some kind, but this is also a supernova. So there's a bunch of really interesting combos that you could do with this deck, where with this card where you like bounce a searcher. And a 6 that plays a 5 seems really good. Obviously, it's only going to have blocker sometimes because being at 1 life is very low, but still a 6/6 that plays a 5. And there's a lot of things that I like about this card where it's like film, it's also supernova, it's also slash. So there's like a bunch of places where it could maybe go, but I'm
Yeah,
not 100% sure yet where, but I feel like this card has potential.
yeah. The blocker mode seems like it was designed for green yellow law because it often goes down to 1 life every time I
Yeah.
face it. So it's like it's kind of
Mhm.
it's a design for that.
Yeah, it's a 6 cost was a little awkward, but still, like picking up a searcher and putting down a blocker law or a Cavendish or anything like that seems really good because it's any cost 5 or less, right? It doesn't care about the typing or anything.
Yeah. So what Kobe is the I think the newest one. It's been spoiled.
Yeah.
Your leader has film, type, or the set up to 1 Dawn is active. So
Yeah, this is a common one. I thought it was end of turn, but realizing now that it's on play, it's a little worse.
yeah, because it's not a repeatable thing like Beppo. But I mean, it has blocker, so it has that, and it has
Yeah,
counter as one less attack. So I mean, is it really that much
yeah.
worse than Beppo? Like,
It has some upsides for sure.
and on play is Shanks.
I guess it's just unfortunate that there's still no green film searcher that's a character. There's just the event. They don't actually have a green one drop film searcher yet.
That seems a little
That's the
weird
biggest downside right now.
to not have one.
Yeah.
And we
The
have,
Uta seems really good though, especially in the green film Uta deck. Like that's the perfect type of card.
yeah,
You
on
have
play.
like a aggressive on play to untapped on for your leader, but then also gives you extra removal protection as well, right? When it dies, you get to play something bigger potentially down. Like, imagine if this dies and you just put out a 5/7 Sanji for free. Like, that seems really good.
Yeah. So like basically, and it's definitely a card that punishes you for the other card in the set, right? Ace, isn't it Ace? Yeah.
Yeah, the
If
one
you
that bounces
if they play Ace, bouncing your Uda, and you get to replay Uda, like, hmm,
Yeah, it just doesn't do much. The ace is really a weird card the more than I think about it. The bounce effect is so odd.
yeah. But yeah, I like Uda. So like basically, if you were on 6, you play this for 4, untap 2, play another 4.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, imagine if you just play two of these.
Yeah, Uda, and leave 2
Yeah,
go.
the second one untaps you 2 Dawn as well, and you get to attack for 7.
Yeah, so Uda leave up a 2-drop event.
Yeah.
So you could
The,
play.
the way these three cards work together of like the Sanji, the Uta, and the Zoro seems really good.
That is a little weird. This is a counter, not a
Yeah, that's
main.
true. That is weird. It's just counter, shoot something, KO it.
I mean, I guess
It's an interesting card.
that's basically an instant speed. They attack with their
Yep.
thing. You basically KO their 4-drop that
Yep.
just is basically attacking.
Kind of a Doomblade type thing, yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
So that freezes. It's like a carrot effect on an event.
This one or this one?
The event,
Mm-hmm.
that's like a up to two opponents rested characters. Oh, so it is a mini Electric Luna. Oh, okay. Supernova plus Straw Hat Crew Electric Luna seems pretty nice, and it also has counter.
Yeah, it is. It is a mini Luna,
It's nice, flexible card.
and then you have
Elephant Gun just hasn't worked out the way I wanted to. Yeah. The Monkey D Garp seems interesting. I don't know if we talked about that card.
yeah. So if your leader is Luffy, Sabo, or Ace, look the top 4 cards. Put anything that costs 3 or more and put it into your hand.
There's definitely a lot of things that you could hit with this. I was trying to think which. There's obviously a lot of Luffy's where you could play this.
Yeah,
I don't think they need it in the Sabo deck, and it's like even the Ace deck has a bunch of Whitebeard searchers, but
yeah. I
it
think,
is an interesting option.
and it was pointed out the fact that it doesn't really grab your 2-drop ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think they think it was done on purpose, so that way.
Yeah, so I can't find the little 2-drop children for the yellow decks.
Yeah, for Sabo.
Yeah.
Not what I mean, aces of a yellow. Is it just Sabo?
Yeah.
Luffy is what color?
There's a red-green Luffy and the red-purple Luffy. Right?
No, it's yellow black.
Yeah.
That was the Luffy for that one. Yeah, so this would give Sabo too much if it wasn't
Maybe.
restricted.
I mean, not that Sabo deck is that like oppressive or whatever. People were saying that Meteor Fist might start seeing play in Kobe.
Because it's Navy.
Yeah, and it's a way to kill like larger characters since you have a bunch of rush and attacking active characters. But Kobe's characters are mostly pretty small outside of the 8 drop. Even that's only at 8-9, right? So
Yeah, I mean, also if you if they attack in, you technically could reduce something small as a defensive spell, even though it doesn't technically have counter. But
yeah, with a trigger effect as well. Yeah.
interesting.
But yeah. Oh, I guess the one last card I wanted to talk about for a second. There's like a Hiyori or something, a yellow Hiyori.
So when it states cards, does that technically count as a
Mhm.
leader?
Yeah.
So this technically was a trigger plus 3,000 to your leader, East leader this
Yep.
turn.
Yep.
Not bad for a common.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also a 2K. It's like not searchable, but when it comes off of trigger, it'll be pretty huge for sure.
And you want to talk about which card?
There's a yellow Hiyori. Yeah. This card seems really interesting. This seems like it could be a really, really big Yamato buff. So 4 cost, blocker, 0 power, but it has counter. On KO, trash 1 card from your hand. If your leader is multicolored, gain a life.
Yeah, I mean that definitely was we talked about before on the podcast. That's one of its weaknesses. You just lose out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah.
It being a blocker, and then later, and then also being like a Kuma, right, where it just gains you a life. Seems like it actually might be enough to keep it where you don't just die out of nowhere. You have one more turn,
Mm-hmm.
which is often what you want.
Yeah. Someone pointed out you could play this in blue yellow Nami as well. That seems good too.
Does it play?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess once Whitebeard Pirates starter deck comes out, you could go more of a Lanawana type strategy because
Mm-hmm.
they do like what's his face from that starter deck,
Yeah.
Odin.
I like that they're doing more of these, like if your leader is multicolored, so it like locking it to several types of leaders rather than just one specific type. Because this makes you think of like, oh, what multicolored leader could I play this in? And it's like Nami seemed good. Yamato seems obviously good as well. And I like that it's on KO. So even if they like rest the Hiyori, they can't just like clear it easily. They have to like rest it multiple turns in a row if you don't die right away, you know? Because if you play Rebecca as a blocker with 0 power, sometimes they just rest it and attack into it with the searcher. But especially with how many rest effects there are nowadays.
Let's see if there's anything else in this. Or I thought it was funny that they kind of have these random Boa Hancock
Yeah.
cards.
Oh, actually, that's one more card. It's in the Cardi Kaizoku one as well. There's a blue Boa Marigold or something. Yeah, this card. This card seems sick.
Yeah, basically,
5/4 with counter. It has blocker. And on play, if your leader's Boa Hancock, play up to 1 Boa Hancock with the cost of 6 or less from your hand.
yeah. So all those people out there that were talking about, oh, I'm so sad because Boa Hancock took a huge hit because they banned
Yeah.
Jinbei. Now you have no room to talk. Now, I mean, this technically cheats down the 6 drop Boa Hancock. So like, do you? It shouldn't matter. It's a 5 drop actually. Yeah, so
Yeah.
5 cheating down is
But
another 6.
still, like that's such a huge turn. If on your 5 Don turn you play a blocker and a 6/8 on the same turn, like that's such a huge swing. But these cards also really make me think that OP14 is going to have a blue yellow Boa Hancock because there's
Yeah.
a couple of yellow Boa Hancock cards as well.
Yeah, I was about to ask, you think this is a Hunter in the actual set? So like, okay, wink, wink, Boa Hancock's coming. Is there any other card in this set that has another like a nod to potential leader?
Yeah, there's one there's one other like blue Boa Hancock card that also mentions Boa.
I
We scroll by it further up top.
I was talking about a non Boa Hancock. And it's like, are they? I was asking basically if they're winking to another potential. Uh,
Oh, to a different OP14 leader.
yeah,
I think they've just been making more like blue and yellow 7 warlord stuff. So I think there's going to be a yellow Doflamingo at some point, but I don't know if that was in this set.
I must have passed it again. No, it's down
No.
here. Maybe. Didn't?
No, there's not that much in this set, but there's like the 8-drop Doflamingo and OP12 and all that stuff.
Maybe the yellow one's not on here.
Yeah. Wait, what does that Momo do?
The stamp, or
No, the Kazuki Momonosuke.
look to all your life cards and put them in any order.
Oh, okay. That card sucks. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if it had blocker. Then you're like, okay, I'll put this down, block with it, and then basically sort my stuff. But it doesn't state that you would put them face back down.
No, so you'd keep whatever cards are face up, face up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Especially since you have to like put them aside to remember which ones are face up, which ones are not.
Yeah, you just got to try and stack them in a way where the face up cards stay face up. But that seems like everything for now. Now it's just wait for the ban list, Sag.
Yeah, so that'll be next week. We'll talk about the ban list. And then we'll talk into what we think is going to be the best decks going forward after OP12 plus, like I said, the bans. And then we'll start maybe getting into some more gameplay. And
yeah.
I think for the most part, isn't OP13 pretty much spoiled?
Yeah, the full spoiler. If it's not out already, it will be out this Friday.
Okay.
But I think they've spoiled like 115 out of 125 cards.
Yeah, so the odds of there being any other good cards are probably like a few commons left over.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just been a bunch of odd like choices, like the film stuff, you know, the green film stuff. There's a bunch of yellow Wano stuff. There's blue Boa stuff. So there's a bunch of random things that got thrown in here.
I'm trying to remember, is he technically film?
No, that's what surprised me too. The Luffy is not film, but all of the cards that they're printing for it are film cards.
Are they hinting there's going to be another Uda?
Maybe there might be another film leader of some kind
coming in. No, but 14 is supposed to be all
7 Warlord themed.
Yeah.
But it's not all of them. There's probably going to be some other stuff too. You know, it might be the same thing where there's like 4 7 Warlord leaders and 2 other stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, at some point we might have to have a video talking about where we think these are ranked now. Because, I mean, Roger got a little bit of a boost. But again, I don't think...
A little bit?
I don't think the late game is there. Like, I'm not really excited about Rayleigh at all.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this Rayleigh either. I think currently if I was building a Roger deck, I would probably just put 4 10-drop purple Roger and then 4 10-drop red Roger and 4 of the red Rayleigh, and that's it.
The 8-drop Rayleigh?
Yeah, the 8-drop red secret rare Rayleigh, because I think that one is searchable by Shanks. Yeah, with Roger Pirates in its types, yeah.
But it's former.
But that's what I'm saying. It's former Roger Pirates, so it has Roger Pirates in its types, which is different than a Roger Pirates type card.
Yeah, I think this also works with it, including without a type, including Roger Pirates.
Without a type. Yep.
Both
you're right. Yep. So the red Rayleigh on play would still trigger if you have the gold Roger. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that would be the saving grace for this card. Like the red Rayleigh is a very good addition.
Yeah, and it'll help you stay alive, hopefully, long enough.
Yeah, I think that's definitely better than this Rayleigh. Like, this seems like a weaker.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, do you really even care about the Dawn? Like, adding a Dawn at 8?
No, this card's really only good if you draw it exactly on your 9 Dawn turn to play it, put yourself to 10, and then, attack 9k, 7k. But after that, it seems pretty terrible. And 5 or less is super awkward, too, with how many 6-cost blockers are running around now.
Yeah, so I'm not really a fan of this card. After testing a little bit, I ended up cutting it immediately. The card that actually felt really good was Goblin. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
just dropping down and draw 2 trash 1 and
Yeah.
ramping is kind of crazy. Plus, it's a reasonable sized body. It's kind of like
It
a
definitely it definitely seems like your ramp cards are going to be like you'll play 20 ramp cards probably, right? Like you'll have 4 buggy, 4 of the ramp event, 4 bullet, 4 copies of the dog Inurashi,
Are you playing
and
Odin?
then Gabon. You could play Odin as well, I guess. I guess the question, maybe you don't play bullet and the dog, but like I guess you have to figure out which one you'll play 2 of.
Yeah, so it's like, are you playing Odin or are you playing Crocus?
I think you're definitely playing Odin. You're definitely playing Odin. Crocus kind of sucks. The question is Bullet or Inurashi or both. Because I don't know if you need like 24 ramp cards, right? It feels like 20 might be enough, but
Yeah, 24 would be a little bit much. Um, Honestly, I like Bullet more than Inarashi because I mean, then again, this gets rid of a searcher, but
yeah. But the bullet attacks. It doesn't attack right away, but it does have a significantly higher power, right? It's 3,000 extra power.
they have the same amount of counter.
Yeah.
So this one,
So
you
maybe it's
this
just 2 in Arashi, like 2 in Arashi, and then you have 22 ramp cards. Yeah,
yeah.
right?
So I mean, would how would that look? So if you did two twos or 8 twos, 8 3s, and then you had like 8 5s to 6, but that's too much, right?
Maybe. That's like the kind of the tough thing too, right? Of like you have your 12 giant top end cards, or maybe you can't play 12. You might even have to only just play like because it's so hard to chain top end, and you need at least 12 2Ks.
Hmm.
So that's 24. Yeah.
But I do like the fact that they're all rares and uncommons.
Yeah. I guess there's like a 4 of free slot that you could figure out exactly. Cuz actually how about the last thing we before we end maybe just try like throwing together some basic Roger deck like what it would look like. Oh, it's the 4 searcher. So I think 4 searcher, 4 bullet, 4 Odin. Do yep, 4 buggy. Yep. 2 copies of the Inurashi and 4 Gabon, yeah. And then what? We need the other Roger and the red Rayleigh. So you'll have to clear the because it's set to OP13 right
Yeah, I'm
now.
trying to think. Is there anything else? There's no red things, right? This is basically
No.
all right. That was OP
You
8.
you could just
Right to search.
yeah.
Yeah, so this if this when this comes out, that'll definitely make the cut. Like
Yeah, but we have no idea when it'll even come out in Japan, much less so in English.
some people were playing this relay. I'm not sure if it's even worth it.
I don't know, probably not. Doesn't seem worth it to me.
I mean, this looks pretty
Now you
solid.
just need 2Ks.
Do we want this one? Like it is a 2K? It's vanilla.
Former Roger Pirates. Maybe. I mean, I think definitely Usohachi is one of them. Like Usohachi's just too good not to play. Yeah. And then yeah, that's not the worst idea, the 2K Roger Pirates, because there's also the cat. There's a purple one.
That's
The
Roger.
Neko Mamushi 2K. Oh, weird that it's not loading. It should be an OP13 card, but this is fine for now, yeah.
Total cards, so we're missing one. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
No, it doesn't count your leader, so this is the full thing. I mean, the big thing is you'd have to find something to replace the Roger. That's the main problem. And probably just one more 2K replaces the Roger right now.
Is there any 2Ks in here? That's a 1-1.
Oh, yeah, it's the Cat Viper. Neko Mamushi.
You have 8 or more Dawn. K up to 1 base power, 3,000 or less, which is a decent amount of blockers.
Yeah, it will KO a good amount of cheap blockers.
All right, so how many of those are you running, though?
I mean, this is what I would start with, but I don't know if this has enough top end as a deck.
What about
You
Divine
might have.
Departure?
I just don't like Divine Departure very much. I don't think it's necessary. We're just not that high on counterless cards because all of our ramp cards have counter.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I would just cut the Roger for now just because we have no idea when it's actually going to come out. The 8-drop one. What are you looking for? Oh, the new game?
yeah, that's basically what we're replacing. That's what we have now.
No, but like...
Or do you not
The
like
new gate's just so awkward with the 10 drop. And I mean, this is 54 cards. I mean, like, if you take out the new gate, it is 50 cards. The question is just like, is that enough top end, or do we have to cut some more ramp cards for more top end? The new gate's probably not 4 copies anyway. Yeah, 2 copies. Maybe it's like 2 copies of new gate and we play slightly less 2Ks, or we cut the Inurashi or something. Because you can only play Newgate before you play Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if the 8-10 drops is awkward too, because you can't ever chain the purple one into the red one. You can play the red one and then play the purple one, and that's pretty good.
The average... I like the fact that it's telling me the average cost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this actually looked pretty solid. I mean, you have...
Yeah, I mean, it looks all right, but yeah, the main question is like, is your top end enough? Can you beat like a Red Rock?
8 10s, 4 8s, 6...
Yeah.
Or 8 6s. Because you have this... I mean, this is still like a fine play.
You definitely just have to be aggressive with this deck in the early game. You have to actually try and put them at a low life total so that your 10 drops can kill them. Because you don't survive that long.
I mean, you're trying to be aggressive in the early game, I think Bullet is required.
Yeah,
If you play this
Bullet will
down,
help a lot.
it gets you ramped, and then you play him, gets you another ramp, which probably turns on your Bullet.
So you'll
and
be
you
on
get to
4
attack.
Dawn when you play it, yeah, and that'll get you to 5, and then it's 6, 7, and then if you play a ramp card on 7, it'll be 8. So it can often attack as a 6K the turn after you play it.
On curve.
Yep.
Which I think actually makes that pretty solid.
Which does help a lot, yeah.
So I don't mind this. Like, we have 8, 12 2Ks?
Yep.
No.
12
16.
2Ks in the counter event.
16 2Ks because Buggy too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we can probably cut one of the 2Ks and play some other thing. I think it's probably cut the Bullet and play the 5-drop Rayleigh blocker after all.
So you do like the Rayleigh?
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I think you have to have some other like discard draw effect. And just the fact that like the 10 drop, like you have to play around the 10 drop really. No, I mean, I think you can cut all 4 of the Bullets because I don't think you need more than 12 2Ks. 12 2Ks plus the 4 counter event should be enough.
You're thinking play all.
Rayleighs. Yeah. This is probably going to be all right. This way you actually have some blockers too. You have 8 blockers. You have some good top end. Okay. This does seem solid. I'll have to try this at some point. Maybe I'll even see if I can put most of this together on stream, right? The only thing that's missing. Oh, I don't think the sim doesn't have the bullet probably yet. That card's new.
Yeah, I think this is actually pretty solid. I mean, 3 of him seems pretty reasonable, so that gives you should be enough on turn 2
Yeah.
to ramp guaranteed. And you're not going to really be sad if you don't have to use Buggy, since it's just a 2K.
Yeah.
So I wonder what how the curve is going to be. How consistently, how fast can you reach 10 in this deck?
Yeah. It's how much damage do you take in the early game too?
I mean, you got an extra 2 life.
Yeah.
So I do think this could be a pretty solid deck. I'm just waiting for when they create a leader that allows you to have more than 10 Dawn.
More than 10 Dawn?
Or think they would ever print that.
It would be interesting to have like a leader be like get an 11th Dawn somehow, but I think it makes things a little too confusing.
Possibly. It might be a little too weird of an ability. But overall, I like this list. This seems pretty solid. You have enough 10s, you have enough 8s.
Dude, I think OP13 is gas. It's the type of power creep that is perfect because it applies to every color. They're all interesting. There's a lot of really interesting deck building decisions, right? Like there's this, and then we don't know if this is the best deck list, but it looks pretty nice. And it looks like it'll be a unique deck too, right? Like playing this deck isn't going to feel like almost any other deck other than like maybe red, purple Luffy, but it's still going to feel different than that.
Yeah, you don't have.
And then I'm excited to like play Bonnie, and even Ace looks really sweet, and the Sabo too. I think OP13 is going to be one of the best sets of all time. Like, I think it's going to go down in history as a really, really good set. Like, I'm so excited for it.
So let's go ahead and close things out. Let us know in the comments, what questions would you guys want to ask us about OP13, and let us know how do you guys feel about OP13 as well. And let's go ahead and shift it over to the half breed. What do you guys close this out?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really nice. I mean, I think they've dragged out this ban announcement as much as they possibly can, but I'm still really, really excited. I think OP13 is going to be really gas, and they're already going to be like all of the F5 elders will probably have showed up in the anime around the time when they get printed. So I'm like super hyped for OP13. I hope they get simultaneous release going really quick too. And I'm excited to really start grinding OP12 once they announce the ban list, because I really want to try and make OP12 and OP13 my like prove I'm not washed up sets. That's my goal. So I'm hyped for that. What about you, Kevy? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm really disappointed about the BNR. Like, it's being so late. I mean, it just basically makes content creators' lives worse because we can't really effectively record anything. So I can't even really record anything for OP12 yet, just because what's the point? Like, if Blue Purple Luffy gets banned, like my videos are just kind of useless unless I just scrap all the Blue Purple Luffy matchups, which means I have to record longer because it's probably going to be a lot of them that are getting their last dish effort before they get banned. So yeah, that's kind of sad. Maybe I'm actually kind of excited for Roger. I don't know yet, but if it's probably gonna be a relatively cheap deck outside of the Red Roger, it's like $5 in Rayleighs. So I might pick it up.
Yeah, Rayleigh's the expensive card, but I think that they're reprinting it in Premium Booster too. No, or am I wrong?
They are. It'll probably drop down like $8. So then again, it depends on if people start picking it up, getting amped up for OP13, or they leave it to the side and pick them up later. So if it gets cheap enough, I might just pick them up just because, I mean, I do have Shanks upstairs too. So
yeah, I mean, Premium Booster comes out like October, I think.
Yeah, October 3rd, I think.
So
And I think
it's
November.
like not that far away, right? And once it comes out, there's a chance that Rayleigh's could be as low as like $5, $10. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna probably drop around 7,
yeah.
$7 to $8 is where it's gonna end up.
Hmm.
Which overall I'm excited for.
Yeah, it's a
You can't
steal
really complain if the best cards in the game are if it's less than $10.
for
So that
sure.
means the card game is healthy. You could pick up most decks, have fun switching them up, and yeah, I'm excited about that. And make sure you smash that like button and subscribe before you head out. And go check out all of our stuff on Twitch and YouTube for both of us. And we'll talk to you guys next week.